Today I'm going to teach you how to have unlimited ideas. Maybe you're a creative person, maybe you're a student or an entrepreneur, and you feel really brain rotted. You feel like you can't think straight or you can't come up with ideas. You try to write, you try to create something, and nothing comes out. And you're starting to believe that there's something wrong with you. Your identity, your sense of self is getting all mixed up. We're going to stop that negative self-talk today, and we're going to give you a very practical system that you can apply right now to start having ideas and to realize that you actually are an infinite idea machine, that your brain is not broken. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do, what it's designed to do. And we're going to give you a good plan for that. We're going to make you feel good. If we have not met before, my name is Josh Chuba. I am a 25-year-old fiction writer. Last year, I wrote this book called Dopamine Hole. It's a collection of 13 short stories. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can pick it up. But the more important thing is that I used to be a dopamine addict who could not stop smoking weed and scrolling on my phone and distracting myself moment to moment. And over the course of 3 years, I systematically trained myself to get my satisfaction from deep, meaningful, creative work. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that your brain is not broken. You've just grown up in an information ecosystem you were not psychologically prepared for. The social media app that you're watching this on right now has been specifically designed to hijack your mind and attention. The tech companies make more money the more time you spend online, so the algorithm that fed you even this video is designed to keep you here for as long as possible. Okay? That is not a pro-human technology, and we're going to have to rebuild it from the ground up. But that's not a problem for right this moment. Right now, we're going to train you to have the internal infrastructure to take care of yourself and pursue something better than infinite, forever, perpetual distraction. You with me? We have to give ourselves the tools, or we have to give ourselves a North Star to aim for that is more exciting than moment-to-moment instant gratification. Part of that is having interesting ideas in your head, because when you are excited by creative work, a project that is bigger than distracting yourself, you are far less likely to spend all of your time scrolling, even though the addictive technology exists and is in your pocket right now. We're just going to go right into the framework. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. Make sure that you write this down on a piece of paper with a pen, because you do have ideas, and the way to have more ideas is to write things down and to use the muscle that is your creativity, and then the ideas just keep flowing forever. That's the whole video in a nutshell, but let's go deeper. Here's the actual framework. Step 1, you have to do nothing. Okay, so you have so many ideas in your head right now. It is an overwhelming place to be. There is a cacophony of noise in your skull, and it makes it very, very difficult to distinguish between signal and noise. Signal we can define as meaningful information, things that matter, things that move you towards goals, things that move you away from pain, things that inform you of your personal values, the stuff that makes you feel like a good, well-adjusted human being. Signal. Noise is everything else. It is the slop. It is the AI brain rot. It is all of the blah, 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 blah. Anxiety, negative self-talk. You're not this. You're not that. People aren't going to like you. What if this happens? What if your crush doesn't like you? What if you say blah, blah, blah? All that is just, it's noise. So we have to start by doing nothing. And the reason for that is you need to let everything up here digest. If you eat a really big meal and you're really, really full, you're stuffed, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to eat food again. If you just sit still for like a day and don't do anything and don't eat anything, eventually you'll get hungry again. This is not medical advice, but you understand the principle. The same thing is true for your brain and your psychology. As you start to do nothing, you're very quickly going to become bored. And that's going to be uncomfortable, because for many years now, you haven't had to be bored. Any time that you've felt a sense of boredom, you can distract yourself with something. But boredom is a really, really useful experience as a creative human. You need it, because what will happen is as you get bored, one or two of the ideas that's circling up here right now will make itself known to you. It will become interesting. And what that might sound like is as you're walking amidst a field of flowers, doing nothing, thinking nothing, you're going to be like, oh, wait, hang on. I have an idea for a song or for a business or for something. And it actually doesn't matter what it is. The important thing is that an idea presented itself to you that is exciting. Go walk outside for a second without any noise, stimulation, music, nothing, and just let the thoughts move out of you. And they will. Step 2 is very, very gentle output. So you've already started this with the movement. You've started moving your body a little bit. That's great. Then you're going to pick up a pen and you're going to just start writing without any expectation of making something. So this is a big thing people get caught up on. They say, oh, I have writer's block. Oh, I can't finish an idea. I don't have any good ideas. What is actually true there is that you have a lot of ideas, but you have a very, very difficult time bringing any of them to life, because the second that you sit down to start writing or to start creating something, you give up on the idea. You think it's bad. You have all this pressure to make it good. Your taste doesn't match your skill level. right? So you have this idea of writing the best movie anyone's ever seen. I'm going to write a screenplay overnight. Okay. And then you start writing and you're like, oh, I'm actually nowhere near the ability. I know I'm nowhere near the skill level necessary to do this. And so then you're frustrated with yourself and you give up. And worse than that, you don't give up. You say to yourself, no, I'm not a creative person, or I'm not someone who can write. I'm just not a writing guy. What are you talking about? That's like saying, I don't know how to ride a bike. Oh, I'm just not a bicycle person. No, you just haven't put training wheels on, and you haven't, brought the ego down. You haven't deployed some strategic humility here. You have tools at your disposal here, and a lot of it is detaching from the really self-centered, very, very fragile ego that's been programmed into you from years of social media. That's a whole lot right there, but I'm hoping that resonates. You with me? You with me? Okay. So very gentle output in the beginning. Just fill a page with some blah, 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 blah. And you have so much material to pull from, right? Because you have years of short form scrolling up here. So you just start writing things down, and it doesn't matter what it is. And you just get used to the feeling of pen on paper. And you are not trying to create a thing. You are not writing a Substack post. You are not writing an Instagram post. You are not writing a YouTube script or a novel or a screenplay or the next great American, whatever the fuck. You're not doing any of that. You are just blah, 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 blah. It's like taking a dump, a brain dump. Now you know where the word comes from. Okay. Then after you've done that, you are going to apply some intensity. Intensity is where you are going to wring your brain out like a rag. Imagine you are a dish rag full of dirty sink water, and all of that dirty sink water is the information you've watched on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the internet for years of your conscious life, years you won't ever get back. You're full of all this dirty sink water right now. You're going to wring yourself out with intensity. Intensity looks like a really hard workout, or something that makes you sweat, something that makes your face scrunch up with effort. Or if you're writing or creating something, it requires a great deal of focus. If you've ever seen it, someone editing a video and they're just totally locked in, that is intense creative work. That is a flow state. And that's ultimately the thing that's going to heal us from all the distraction, is regularly and in a dedicated manner getting ourselves into flow states. Again, you don't start with that, but then once you get there, you find that it's a really effective tool for bringing your anxiety down and getting rid of that really overwhelmed, drowning in noise stimulation feeling that you might be grappling with now. Also, by the way, this is a framework that you're going to spread out over the course of either a day or a week. You have to audit yourself what you're capable of. If only one of these tasks sounds possible today, such as returning to silence, going for a long walk with no stimulation, or a little gentle output, or maybe you are ready for something more intense. You have to feel within your guts what you're capable of today. And you have to be very honest with yourself, because if you overextend and you try to do more than you're capable of, you will collapse and you will become discouraged, and you're less likely to show up tomorrow. And the number one goal is that you show up and continue with this framework tomorrow. This is how we protect ourselves from chronic distraction. The distraction, the addictive stuff, it's not going away. So we have to build in practices that we are naturally motivated and excited to return to on a daily basis. That's what we're talking about here. How to have infinite ideas that excite you, that are more interesting than doom scrolling. Onwards. Lastly, step 4 is going to be feed yourself nourishing media. So you have to feed your brain new ideas. And you have to do this intentionally. When you live a lifestyle of passive consumption, none of it is intentional. You are eating, or you are consuming the ideas that your algorithm thinks you should have. And that involves no decision-making or creative will on your part. The way that you turn yourself into a creative athlete or an intellectual athlete, or someone who is in touch with themselves and very intentional about what goes in, the way you do that is you structure a media diet based on your own interests. And again, this goes back to step 1 of the framework. You have to figure out what you're interested in by becoming bored again. After you've gone through steps 1, 2, and 3, you might have a better idea of what you actually want to pursue. So then you seek out books and podcasts and films and pieces of art that feed that part of you, that feed your soul, that feed the creative spark within you that you want to channel in your work. You go to the art museum, you go to the Museum of Natural History, you go to a friend's house and talk to them about things that you are mutually interested in. You feed your brain ideas, and then you write down ideas that come from that, and you create this infinite feedback loop of ideas go in, ideas come out. What I hope you're getting from this conversation, where none of these ideas are particularly revolutionary or new, but what I hope you're getting from this is that we're framing the conversation around what you can do. It's a game, it's a practice, it's a system that you can run, right? This is very practical. This is a practical game you can play. turning your life into a creative video game, because then you have something you can do. And then you're free from the whole like identity game of, oh, I'm not X or I'm not Y. I am not a creative person. I'm not a writer. I'm not a thinker. I am trapped. All of that is victim mindset. That is accepting a limiting belief, a limiting narrative, and living within it because it allows you to stay comfortable. No shame, no guilt. I get it. I've been there. But do you not want something better for yourself? Do you not want something more? Do you not think you're capable of more? I would suggest that if you can have the courage to face the unknown and to face the humility of, dropping the ego and starting at zero and then just going day by day, if you can have the courage to do that, your life will be more fun. It will be more engaging than chronic distraction. But it requires effort, and it requires courage, and it requires humility. All things that the short form content machine have eroded within us because it's conditioned us to be addicted, highly stimulated, highly self-conscious, very anxious, very depressed people who are naturally inclined to insulate ourselves in our rooms, consuming and numbing and distracting ourselves forever. So the opposite of that would be to deploy humility, courage, patience, and creativity, and become intellectual athletes who pursue interesting ideas, feed ourselves nourishing media, deploy boredom as a skill set when we need to, and then devote our precious and limited attention to creating art and media that, develops the human consciousness and develops our own consciousness. It's all a collective act of creative revolution, and this is the war of our time. Holy, lots of ideas coming out at once. But you see what I'm saying, right? Like you got to feed yourself good stuff and then let it sit, let it digest, and then really interesting things start coming out of you. Holy glaze. Are you with me? Thank you. Okay, the last thing I want to cover right now, this has been a very ranty video, but I'm forcing myself to make something imperfect to get back in the flow of consistent output. Sometimes you have to accept that the work is not going to be very good, and that if you just show up purely as yourself, without any expectation, with just full honesty, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, sometimes you trust that the work is what it needs to be. One take wonder. We do this all at once, and you just let it be what it needs to be. Apply this strategy as well in your creative work. Great. Okay, last thing I want to cover is that a helpful metaphor as you start getting into this work. You're going to view your brain as an ecosystem, which means there's inputs and outputs. There are living factors and there are non-living factors. In an ecosystem, you have living factors, plants, animals, insects, microbes, things that are alive within the ecosystem. And then you have non-living factors, soil, sunlight, water, rocks, the physical landscape. And these things interact with each other to create a vibrant place of many living things, all depending on one another, right? So like the birds depend on the worms. I'm not a scientist here. Do you understand the metaphor that I'm trying to get across? I think so. In your mind, ideas are a product of that ecosystem. So you need to get in the practice of auditing your own internal ecosystem. What is coming in? What is being allowed to germinate and then be born? And then what am I developing/harvesting? So the inputs, right? You can think of this as the water and the sunlight and the soil. What are the ideas that are coming in? And when you start auditing your ideas, the media, the content, the information, the programming that's going into your skull, when you audit that very, very intentionally, you realize how much of your media diet is comprised of slop. It's comprised of fast food, the McDonald's, the Taco Bell of the information world. And then you decide, you know what, maybe I want to have some informational chicken breast and rice, or some informational spaghetti bolognese, whatever you enjoy, right? And then you start reading fiction, and then you start watching movies with your full attention without going on your phone. And you start looking at the little details of all the beautiful art that surrounds you. And when you get to that point, you realize that every single moment of your life, every single frame of your conscious experience in this physical realm is a work of art if you can choose to see it that way. And that the choosing to see it that way is the skill to develop. That is what it means to train your attention. Consider the ideas that are being allowed to germinate and then be harvested, right? What do you want to create? And what's interesting about that question is that when you're asking it right, you don't have to think very hard. So most people are like, they try to hyper curate who they are in the digital world. They're like, who do I want to be seen as? Am I going to be the fiction writing guy, or am I going to be the mental health self-help guy? I don't know who thinks of it that way. Am I going to be an artist, or am I going to be a tech programmer? And I have to decide on an Instagram bio that then is going to be my identity box for the rest of my life. And then I'll be okay. Then I'll have it figured out. Then I'll be the AI automations guy. And then I will never have to figure out who I am again. And every dinner party I ever go to, I'll be like, I'm the AI automations guy. And they'll be like, yo, you're so cool. And then your problems are solved, right? Incorrect. You are not a thing. You are not X, Y, or Z. You are a living, breathing, dynamic process of this life. And it's not about who you are. It's about what you're doing. It is an active being. It is a process. You are in motion and you are never one thing. The moment you decide to be one thing is the moment you die, conceptually, and maybe literally. So let's stay in motion and let's consider that forget about who you are and what you want your grand magnum opus to be. Forget about your grand project. Let all of that go. Let it go. Did you let it go? Thank you. And then focus on the doing. Give your attention to the doing. In that idea ecosystem, you're taking in interesting ideas, the soil, the water, the air, the sunlight. That's your books, your films, your podcasts, your music that you're listening to and taking in with your full attention. Your full attention. You're really digesting it, right? And then get to harvesting. Get to work. You're a farmer of your own mind. Forget about who you are, forget about your Instagram bio, and just start putting things on paper or putting things on the keys or start making something visual. But start doing something. Focus on the ing, the doing of the thing. Okay, goodness gracious, we are all over the place. Let's review everything we've covered and then let's get the hell out of here and start doing something, yeah? Okay. You're overwhelmed with ideas. Great. Welcome to 2026. We're going to be doing this work for the next several decades. So strap in. It is not too late for you. This is only the beginning. Humanity is being challenged at scale right now. You are on the front lines of the creative revolution, and we need you. We need your ideas. No one else can produce what you are here to make. View yourself as a creative athlete and then get to work, get to practice. It's not about you. It's about everyone else. Step 1, go back to nothing. So destimulate yourself. Let go of all the ideas. Let them process out of you. If you give yourself time and silence, they will. Step 2, reintroduce yourself to the page, to physical practice, slowly. Do it gently. Do it in a way with zero pressure. Don't try to make anything grand. Just try doing something. Get your body in motion because that's the only way the anxiety goes away is by doing something. Step 3, dial up the intensity, right? Wring your brain out, wring your body out, sweat, focus, give yourself hours of uninterrupted focus time to do the creative work, really stretch yourself. And then your ideas will grow back stronger. It's like hypertrophy in the gym. You break your muscles down and then they grow back stronger. Provided, step 4, you feed yourself nourishing media. Feed yourself books, podcasts, music, all the great art of our time. You have the internet at your fingertips. You can use it for good. Be a conscious curator of your own media diet. Okay? And use the internet for good. Feed yourself what your soul needs. If you listen carefully, if you have the humility to listen, your soul will tell you what it needs and that it is your job to serve yourself. Serve yourself good media, create some awesome art, and save the world with your creative spark because no one else is going to do it. And you are uniquely equipped to do it. I love you. This was all over the place, but I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.